What's great about that whole intro is Scott and I were having a dance party, and nobody ever knew about it.
And never will. And, it's not recorded, never will, First ever KSM dance party.
If it didn't happen,
dance off.
What stays in the pre-show stays in the pre-show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the final Keystroke Medium Live of Season 4. It is December 30th. Wouldn't it be great if today would have been like New Year's Eve?
That would have been better. Because we'd be all by ourselves.
Yeah, we'd be like the only two people. Yeah. Welcome to the last episode of Season 4. It is the season grand finale. And next week we start Season 5. So not anything huge different, but the cool thing about this episode is Scott and I unceremoniously, unplanned, wore the same shirt.
What?
Did not request it, and we didn't plan it either. So, but we do it because we love you.
I guess those guys will send me one of those if I ever actually finish a book for them. I'm close. I'm so close.
Do it. We should get them. We got to get them because right now you got your shirt off, is what you told us before the show started.
Well, since my webcam hates me so much, I figured I'm doing this show full Monty, dude. I am letting my freak flag fly. Y'all just can't see it.
We always talk about doing a pantsless show. Chuck just went the extra step.
I'm full on middle-aged alcoholic Chippendale in it over here.
Welcome everybody to the live chat. I'm going to scroll back and see who was I think Lauren was the first. I see something from Lauren, but I don't see what she posted. This is what I get from Lauren. Blank, but that's the first.
Yeah,
one.
It's just like she just wanted her name in there.
What's the name of it? So Lauren gets the golf clap of Keystroke, the final golf clap of Keystroke Medium Appreciation for season.
I'm clapping.
Yeah, clap closer to the microphone. What's up, Jay Clifton? Shadow TS Hoddle is here. Let's see who else is here. Let's see
Rick.
who is. Oh, Ken is watching live. Hello, Ken Brits.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rick Partlow's here. Lauren Moore. All the usuals. All the usuals are in the live chat.
Got Lou, William.
I don't know who the Facebook user is, but they're there. Hey, what's up, Facebook and YouTube? Jay Olivia's here.
It's confusing how
I'm gonna say that name right one of these times. Oh, Kayleen's here too.
Hey, Kayleen.
Hi.
So I can all be here in spirit.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for this episode: William Tyler
Davis. Dun dun dun.
And Walt,
aka the Top Golf Champion of 2019.
No, he's not at all. I am.
He did. I think he won.
No,
I think you might have won the style points, but unfortunately, it's not like gymnastics. I mean, you have to actually score points.
Whatever, Scott. Spoiler alert for this episode. If you came to this episode in hopes of learning anything groundbreaking or new, you're probably not going to get
Ain't gonna happen
in this episode. This episode's going to be a lot of us shooting the shit and hanging out and having a good time and talking about whatever we want to talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about. Hey, Kronos, how are you? Happy New Year. Let's KTF. Actually, a funny story about KTF. So I'm listening right now to book, I think 7 of Galaxy's Edge on Audible. It's
right.
It's Turning Point. It's weird because on Audible they combine the 2 books, so you get 1 and 2. Yeah. So I'm on part 4, but I'm listening to book 7. And cool thing about book 7 is that I'm in book 7. I'm in it. And my Legion call sign is Keystroke, and I'm an EOD guy. Yeah, so I'm LS01. I can't remember if my first name is in there, but Keystroke Hayes is an EOD tech in Galaxy's Edge, and I was like,
That's so awesome.
But then I also got a 2-star review on Edge of Valor today that said, I've read all the books in the Galaxy's Edge universe, and this one and Karen Travis's book just aren't up to snuff. And I was like, wait a minute.
On Strikers War?
No, on Edge of Valor. I was like, Edge of Valor's not in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. And I knew that.
So I politely said, hey, just FYI, if you're talking about Strikers War, that's cool, but different book, wrong book. That was my something cool today. Also, If I sound weird, it's because I'm coming down with a little head cold. I apologize for that. I'm trying to burn it out with some whiskey, but it's not working as fast as.
That's what they did on the prairie back,
They just burned it out.
Which speaking of the prairie, I recently learned in a Joe Rogan podcast I was listening to about a book called Coyote America, and how coyotes and coyotes are like in every 50 states. They got coyotes in Manhattan, New York.
Nice.
They're dominant.
Let's see. Jake Clifton brought up a really good second point. Number 2 in science fiction.
Yeah, what about that? Everybody give it up for Mr. Josh Hayes.
I'll pat myself on the back.
Pat for the Hazer.
Go ahead and pat that back.
The Hazer.
I tell you what, it was a complete surprise. Nobody had any idea what was going to happen. And then I didn't have any idea it was going to shoot up the way it did. And I was only just replaced in Mill Sci-Fi this afternoon by, speaking of Galaxy's Edge, Requiem for Medusa, one of their bounty hunter books. It got a daily deal too, and so it replaced me as number 1, and now I'm number 2 for the book, but I'm still number one in the rest of the categories. What was great? I was number 3 on Audible for like a whole 24 hours. The whole store, I was number 3 on Audible for the whole store.
That's so awesome. You gotta love the daily deal. You gotta love the daily deal. And it's good timing because you got the second audiobooks coming out.
Because the second audiobook, Echoes of Valor, is coming out tomorrow.
That's awesome.
And we didn't know about that.
It's almost like you planned it, but you didn't.
Oh, we didn't. I was talking to Steve. We could not have planned this better. We get a daily deal on Edge of Valor, which shoots me straight up the charts. I get ebooks sold, I get audiobooks sold, I sold a crap ton of copies, just dominated the store, and then 4 days later the second book comes out. And I'm like, yes.
So basically your marketing strategy is kick back and wait for random ass shit to happen.
That's right.
I mean, that's pretty much it. We should write that book. Let's write that book.
Can actually lay their success at the feet of that series of events. I mean, really, that's a lightning strike of a kind. I think
it really is.
I
don't think anybody in Audible planned it. It was just because like this guy over here in this room was like Edge of Valor, and then this guy over here was like publish book 2, and neither of them had any idea.
I see some dudes just flipping a coin. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Edge of Valor or Bigfoot Romance?
Same thing. Just can't really go wrong with either one. And again, that's our main goal in the show is to watch Josh shoot something through his nose. Fairly reliable. Clear out your sinuses.
Burnt so badly.
Yeah, but you can breathe now, I bet, right?
Oh man,
opened you up.
Woo!
Awesomeness.
What are you guys up to this week, man? Or last week, today? Have you guys done anything fun? Anything interesting?
Chuck will have to go first. I don't even know. He's got more fun.
I've been all the Christmas rounds, going and seeing extended family, all that stuff, and actually just got home yesterday evening, so this is my first day back home in a while.
Was it everything that you wanted it to be?
It's over. That's the best I can do. I'm home again.
Attendance counts.
With my busted ass computer and my liquor cabinet. That's it. I'm home.
We need to take a collection for
No, I'm gonna. It's just it's like I said. This thing's 10 years old. Started out with Windows 7. It's gone through like 5 OS updates, and it's just too long in the tooth. I'm gonna have to replace it. I'm cheap, so
Scott, anything fun in your world?
I should be cheap, but I have like zero impulse control because I'm like, my computer wants to start, I buy a laptop.
Yeah.
I got 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just say I have like just computers and keyboards scattered everywhere because they all solved a technical problem. Which eventually I'm going to run out of room.
I'm trying to decide if I want to get like a really good laptop that I can just plug into my big monitor and my big keyboard and just I don't know if that works well or not. I've never tried that before.
So
if you buy a really expensive computer, it'll just break your heart. I'm just telling you right now.
I'm sure it will. Most
What
expensive
happens.
things do.
Well, so you mentioned the other day getting it. Was it you that was talking about getting a Mac Mini?
Yeah, last show we mentioned it off the air. We were talking about it.
So you could probably go and get like a Mac Air or like a used MacBook Pro, because with Macs, and I don't know if you could do this with the PC, you might be able to. It's been a while since I've had a PC laptop, but with Mac laptops, you can connect the Bluetooth keyboard and or the mouse or whatever, and then plug in the monitor, like an external monitor, to the laptop, and then close the laptop and just put it away.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking I would do if I got a good laptop, and then that way I could just unplug it if I wanted to go to a coffee shop or whatever, and take it all with me. So I don't know. I'm debating what to do, and if I decide to go Apple, it's like there's the learning curve and the Scrivener, all my Scrivener files, which is basically all my books from the last 4 years.
They'll transfer over.
They will?
Yep.
Because I can't get what's on my iPhone to talk to what's in my. I can't open it on my PC.
They will convert if you bring them over. They will convert on your Mac.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't go from Mac to PC, but they'll go from PC to Mac. Okay. I'll have
like
to
a
look into that,
one-time
because that's actually my biggest hesitation. Is it's just I don't want to have all my work scattered over a bunch of different machines.
It might ask you when you open them. It might ask you to do something funky, like if you open this, then you can't move it back the other direction or something. But
yeah.
All
right. But anyway, so I've just got an old busted ass computer to go with my old busted ass body. So
Kayleen says, "Boo Mac, PC for life." Rick bought himself a Dell for Christmas.
Nice. So I got a new computer. Well, my wife got me one, and I've been doing voice dictation on it, and it's freaking badass. And I got who was the guy that told us about Synergy? Was it Ken Lazito?
Ken Lazito uses Synergy, so he can like dictate on a PC machine, and then you can just drag the stuff and drop it into a Scrivener machine. I've been doing that, and
I did it.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. So with Synergy, you can't see it with my camera, but over here is my PC. This monitor over here is my PC, and then I have two Mac screens right here. So I've got three screens in front of me, and this one is my PC, and I can voice dictate on that. You see my Word document open, and then with Synergy, I can copy it and then paste it right into Scrivener on my Mac, and I don't have to do anything funky.
But it makes you freeze up sometimes.
Did I just freeze up?
You froze.
Did I?
You froze. You totally froze. You were like in this pose, this dramatic pose, and then something happened.
Bill's gonna meme that later. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh, I did the so we got the Google Sheets page for the January Word Challenge. We're going to start up in 2 days. I've got several people that have asked me about it. Right now, let's see how many people we got signed up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 people are on the document. I've got more than that have asked and invited, and so they probably just haven't put their name on there yet. So right now we have 16 people, and as it sits right now, the total I say pledged goal, but the total goal is 1,064,014 words is what the 16 people have into write for the January Word Challenge, for our first annual January Word Challenge. And that's pretty cool, I think. Let's see. Ken says,
we talked a little bit today about
I am waiting for the candle to light Josh's room on fire. It's not very nice. I'll blow it out.
It's probably going to happen.
It's for ambiance.
Do you have a fire extinguisher? I don't think
no,
you have
but
the
I've got
OSHA standards. Yeah, that'll work.
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say you need to have a company fire extinguisher so we can meet like OSHA safety standards and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was going to say something else, but
no, we were talking. Those guys will show up for an inspection.
We were talking earlier today about having the max word count goal, but also figuring out a way to somehow track percentage of goal. so that because everybody's putting in a different goal. Some people put in 25,000 words, some people put in 125,000 words.
Yeah.
But but everybody that hits their goal is successful.
Yeah.
So we need some way to deal with that, because I just want to get everybody writing and everybody having a good time. And
I see there's a couple of people in the live chat that are asking about how to get on the document. Basically, if you're friends with me on Facebook, just send me a private message with your email, and I'll add you on email, or email keystroke.medium@gmail.com, and I can get you on that way. The only reason I don't want to put it out public because I don't want just random people clicking on it and changing things, because there's not a really easy way to lock it. But yeah, just send me a private message on Facebook or email keystroke.medium@gmail.com, and I'll get you hooked up. So I wanted to talk about it just for a minute, and let me see if I can share it. And just because it's pretty self-explanatory.
Screen share.
There we go, and we'll do it right now. Okay, that's kind of a. Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
I have my screen minimized so that I can look towards you guys.
Blurry.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read.
Here, let me make it bigger. Okay, so
you can make it as big as your TV in your
oh my god. So okay, before we talk about the spreadsheet, so our TV in the living room has been going out. It's been going out for a while, and finally this morning or yesterday it really shot the shit, and Jamie was like, that's it, I'm done with this TV, I need to go to the store. So she goes to the store, she calls me from Best Buy and says, hey, what's the refresh rate you said you wanted to get? I said 240, because 240 is the better one. And she says, all right, I think I found this really cool TV. And I said, how big is it? She goes, it's 85 inches. And I go, yeah. And I go, okay. And
you have the best wife in the world.
Right. I thought she was going to say like, that's 55. No, she went with the biggest one in the store. And not only that, but it's a Sony Bravia. And it's got like, it's a 4K, and it's got like so 240 is like the max for most, but I guess this TV's got some like really super weird processor. It does like 960. It's like crazy. Wow. So anyway, this TV is so big that your mom was so big. This TV is so big that they
how big was it?
How big was it, John? This TV was so big that they had to make the box so that you can take the box apart around the television, because you cannot pull the TV out of the box. And so the box actually comes apart around the television. This box weighs 102, or the TV weighs 102 pounds.
Will the wall mount hold that?
Our wall. So I was worried about that, and we had it mounted on. We had it just sitting on its legs, and we took off the old TV, and I was able to look at the mount on the wall. The mount's rated for 135, and we were like, cha-ching! So we just hung it right back on. It's ridiculously big. Ridiculous.
That's awesome, though.
I was watching In-Game on it last night in 4K. Like
the best possible way.
Felt like I was fighting Thanos myself, like in real life. Okay, so the Keystroke Medium January Word Challenge. This is the document, as you can see. All this stuff will calculate automatically. This is how I set up the formulas and all this stuff. So the columns are locked. So here on the side, the days are locked, so that if like Chuck's way over here at the end for some reason, he can still see what day he's on. So there's 17. I forgot about that. You didn't put in a goal, Chuck. What do you want your goal to be?
I was just gonna put like ha 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 or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna make his goal.
I'll come up with a goal. Make it like negative 750.
Chuck's got 100. All you have to do is write 3 words a day for the entire month of January. Okay, so all this stuff is automatic, right? So you put in your goal. It says how much is remaining. So let's just say on the first day I write 1,000 words. Hit enter. That's all you have to do. Everything changes automatically, and then it'll add it up as you go and change your daily average and your word count needed per day and your remaining. All that'll update automatically. You don't have to worry about that. It also, this is cool too. When Rick gets on the first day and he does this, and it changes to him as the current leader. And when Scott Moon does this, it changes to Scott Moon as the current leader. So that's kind of cool automation. Oh, and then it also over here tabulates what the daily average is for the group. So far, what we have for the total in the group, and I don't have a remaining word, but you get the idea. So anyway, once you put your name and your goal in the sheet, you don't have to do anything but input your numbers. It will do all the math for you, and all the calculations, and tell you exactly what you need to do to meet your goal.
So don't change anything except for put numbers in.
So touch nothing.
Touch nothing. Be like your annoying grandma, when
I
you're
really should learn how to
Don't
use that
touch the TV.
software.
So the only thing I had to look up was how to do this, the leader bar, because this is a very complicated equation. If you look up here, well, you might not be able to see it, but it's a huge, complicated equation. There you go. That's what I had to look up to get that. Nope. Stop. And then this one over here was simpler, but this one was a huge, like, just crazy equation. But it worked out. I thought it was cool. I tried to do like a top 5, like if I could list the top 5 in changing order, that it would change the standings as you went. But I haven't found that code yet. And some of the code that I found, when I was reading, I went cross-eyed and I was like, well, one's fine. One'll work. They'll be fine with that. So yeah, if you want in on the challenge, there's plenty of room. It goes so I don't know who added in. I don't know who EC is. I wonder if that's Ellen Campbell. I don't know who added in all these other ones. So AW through BJ. I don't know who added those in, but the formulas are not on those ones. So everybody up in
probably Coyote did that.
Yeah, probably. All these empty boxes here, the formulas are set up and ready to go. All you got to do is put your name in and your goal, and then start inputting your numbers. So that'll be a good time, I think. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. Let's see. What's everybody talking about in the live chat? What's going on here? I saw somebody talk about The Mandalorian earlier. What do they say?
They told you should rewatch The Mandalorian on your ginormous TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's true.
Did you guys watch the last episode?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to take a poll. Put a 1 in chat if you have not seen the last episode and you don't want us to talk about it on air. Put a 1 in chat. Just type 1. It's really
Has
simple.
anybody finished The Witcher yet?
I'm on episode 3.
Getting ready to start.
I'm on episode 6, and so far I'm digging it.
Oh, Cronus says no spoilers. Oh.
Okay, we'll be good to. We'll be nice to Kronos.
So I thought that the last episode was probably one of the best episodes of the whole season, and that my misgivings, and they weren't even misgivings, but my fears for some of the characters were laid to rest, and I thought that they all had fantastic arcs.
Yeah.
I kind of lumped the last 2 episodes together.
Agreed.
As one arc.
Yep.
And honestly, it's some of the best TV storytelling I've seen in a while.
I mean, with every season of TV, you're going to have great episodes, you're going to have good episodes, and you're going to have bad episodes, right?
Sure.
And I think all of us will agree that episode 4 sucked.
Yes.
But all the rest of them, all the rest of them have been really good. And they introduced just enough to make you interested in what was going on. They didn't overload you, and the entire it is a setup, right? It's a setup for season 2, and
of course.
But
right?
I felt like I got good resolution on season 1, but totally hooked for season 2. So
100%.
Well done. That was well done.
Well,
I thought Darth Maul being alive was kind of a weird ad.
But it's weird. And he had that thing that he wore.
Yeah.
Little tiara.
Weird. He spoke that funny voice.
Oh, sorry, Kronos.
Yeah. What did you guys feel? Because this isn't a spoiler, but how did you guys feel about the two stormtroopers at the very beginning of the episode? I thought that was like the best, probably the best stormtrooper scene in all of Star Wars. Probably.
I think anybody who's rolled a perimeter before knows what that's like, though.
100%.
Just two guys talking shit back and forth.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder if was that a cameo with those two actors? Because
I'd be interested to know.
I'd be interested to
know. One of them was one of the guys from the Bachelor Party. Or no, is that what it was called?
The Hangover?
The Hangover, yeah.
Really?
Oh no, what was his name? The guy that gets the tattoo on his face in the second one.
What?
I'm pretty sure it was one of those guys, and he was the one that kept punching.
I'm gonna look that up.
I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Punching is dangerously close to spoilers.
Yeah, that was very close to spoiler. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but see, it felt like a cameo from a couple of actors who really knew how to do that type of scene.
Well,
so I think
in all honesty, when I was watching it, I was arguing with myself or whether or not it was Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. There was just something in the voices that made me think it was those two guys because they seemed to really know each other. You know,
well, it had that feel. It had kind of
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah,
and Adam Pally.
Is that right? Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, because I saw a thing on Instagram where one of them, whichever one of them it was, there was a big joke thing going around about. Because of the nature of the scene, people were kind of ribbing him about, you're going to get. There's
a couple of things about that scene that are classic that everybody will understand.
Yeah.
Kronos asked about Darth Maul being alive, and I was struggling with that too, but really it's kind of one of those animatronic type of things like Darth Vader, Luke's along, he's got a machine, Darth Maul's got some things that make him
he's running Black Sun. So
that's probably why he wears all that weird stuff right at the end of the episode. You got to really look for him.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing is like you got some really legit enlisted banter that you two guys sitting on a post somewhere that is like that is an actual conversation that two grunts will have anywhere on the front line or in the back, wherever. It doesn't matter.
Anywhere. I don't care if you're on dorm CQ, man. That conversation's going to happen.
100%. And one of them is like in the position of, I'm not showing you.
That's it. Fuck you. Yeah. You ain't no.
And I also like when they're trying to shoot that can and they all miss.
They miss
and leave it out. That's a spoiler. Don't spoil the can shooting.
Shooting a can is not a spoiler, and we all know that stormtroopers cannot hit anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had somebody in the chat talking about hadn't seen the new Star Wars because have not heard anything good about it. I actually enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker.
I liked it.
I mean, you could pick it apart, but I had a good time, and that's all I really care about.
I think if you go in with the mindset that it's following Last Jedi and they're trying to do a lot of course correction, and you just kind of accept that, it had everything in it I want out of a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I really genuinely enjoyed it
compared to the last. Yeah, it's a whole different league compared to The Last Jedi.
My son, we finished watching it. We're in the theater and we watched it. And when I looked at him, like, I got no problem with that. He's like, yeah, I like it too. He said, now what you need to do, Dad, is you need to write a book that replaces The Last Jedi and just like put it up for free out in the world.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I know the story. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos that broke down with spoilers and all that, and because I'm really not interested to go see it. I will see it when it comes out on streaming probably, but from what I understand, it wrapped. The actors did a better job in this movie than they did in previous. Films, and that the action, while the story was the action was cool. So like, I'll give them that.
Yeah, no, I think you have to go at it with the right mindset,
right?
You have to realize it's following up the middle of a trilogy that was not effective, so they're having to course correct a lot.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that, it's just a good science fiction-y, science fantasy adventure story. And it's, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Luke's got a great book title. I like that.
Oh, that's good. Now, I will say that I think the title, it should have had a different subtitle, in my opinion. I mean, you haven't seen it,
Rise of Skywalker.
I think Rise of Skywalker wasn't a very good.
If I understand the ending correctly, it's super on the nose.
Right, but too much so.
It's actually, yeah, but
I mean, it fits, but I think it could have been better.
Because
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, but the thing is it's actually kind of confusing because the Skywalker angle is actually extremely less important than the other angle.
Right, exactly.
It's So anyway, but like I said, we can pick it apart. So what else are we talking about?
Well, we were just talking about the Mandalorian.
Oh, are we gonna do or is it the next show we're gonna do? What's up for 2020?
Goals will be the next show. It'll be
next show.
The first show of season 5 will be goals. Speaking of The Witcher, I hear that The Witcher has been picked up for
two more seasons.
2 more and a third season.
Second and a third season. Yeah.
And I was listening to another podcast earlier that they were talking about.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, such a freezer.
Branch out. So I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about the difference between The Mandalorian and The Witcher and how they're both really good shows, but there's more hype around The Mandalorian than there is The Witcher. And they had a really good point to why they thought that was. So I want to get your guys' opinion on this because I'm very interested in this, because for the last couple of years, up until this year, well, even still this year, on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, when they launch a series, it launches all at one time. Bam.
Right.
For those streaming networks. So of course it's different on HBO and everything else, but they release the whole thing so you can binge the whole season in 1-2 sittings or whatever you want. But for The Mandalorian, you had to wait every week. And we talked about this a little bit when we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I really think that process of waiting the week and then having the whole week to talk about the episodes, like really hyped up, like built the hype for the show, in that it's like a pre-order almost, where you're building it up and talking about it, and instead of getting it all in one day and you talk about it and you're done because you're not watching anymore, you talk about it over 2 months instead of a week.
You probably get a deeper hook. It's you're setting the hook throughout the week,
right? And I also think that's going to be the standard going forward for the streaming services, because it makes more sense for them to string you out for 10 weeks versus dropping a whole season and having you sign up for 1 month as opposed to 3. Right. Like I'll sign up for a month of, I don't know, Netflix if they dropping a new season of Stranger Things, and then I'll watch it in 2 days and cancel it and move on to something else to watch whatever I want to watch next.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody that canceled their HBO subscriptions after Game of Thrones was over.
After Game of Thrones, exactly. And I think it makes more business sense for them to string us along and keep those subscriptions going for as long as they can, and then they can start overlapping good shows. You know, like right before Witcher ends, they have a new thing as Stranger Things begin.
The live chat is almost entirely based on Edge of Valor series titles.
This is what I like about the live chat. Every week I get ideas for new book titles, and I'm going to yank them all.
Yeah, and half the time they don't give a shit what we're talking about.
No, they don't. They just have their own conversation. They just have their own conversation, their own little world. Somebody asked if I had read. Who asked if I had read The Witcher? I think it was Jay.
Yeah, somebody. I saw that too.
I heard it's good. I have not read it, but I've heard
I have it on audio. Oh, speaking of The Witcher, this is kind of a salty point for me. I made it to number 3 on the Audible store. Number 3 overall.
Trace.
Because The Witcher was in number 2. And The Witcher was in number 2 because the Netflix series bumped their sales super high.
Bumped their sales.
So because Netflix published The Witcher, I couldn't hit number 2 on Audible. I'm very salty about that.
Hey,
Well, get a Netflix show. Come on.
I have
a
to
number two every day.
Yeah, I'm actually I have my I'm gonna text my buddy at Netflix tomorrow. I'm like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, thanks for nothing, buddy.
Yeah. But anyway, so I do have the Witcher on audio, and I have started listening to it. I think I'm probably a couple hours in. I'm probably going to need to restart it because a lot of the times when I listen to books, I'm like doing chores or I'm chasing kids around, and The Witcher is kind of a book you need to pay attention to almost.
Yeah,
and
it's a focus.
Yeah,
it's focus prose.
But I mean, I really like it. I think it's a really good the character Geralt. Is it Geralt? Yeah. It's
Geralt.
Yeah, it's super good. And even his portrayal by what's his nut Superman in the show.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Cavill. Yeah, that guy.
I actually saw a YouTube video of him reading like the first chapter or two of the first Witcher book, which was kind of cool. But yeah, even listening to it that way, though, you got to really like pay attention to.
Yeah, he's a big gamer. He was like, I'd rather stream and play video games than.
Yeah, I saw him in an interview. He said he actually almost missed the call that he'd gotten the Superman role because he was doing a raid in World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I wonder if he plays Classic WoW.
No idea.
Guy Anthony DeMarco says voluptuous vixens of valor.
There you go.
That'll be on my Wild Stallion book
with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In space.
Yeah, maybe Netflix is watching the Audible sales and see your name right after The Witcher. Keep an eye out for a Netflix series deal flooding your inbox. Man, that would be great. That would be awesome. I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't even give a shit what they did with it. I'm like, yeah, just give me a whole bunch of money. I'm just kidding. But
that's it, man. I will sell out. I will not only sell out, I will sell out on multiple fronts.
I'll be like the George Lucas.
I will sell. I mean, I will just send me cash.
Harems of Valor.
Harems of Valor. There you go.
Here we go. Pleasure Pit of Valor. Come on, you guys.
once we've crossed that line, there's really no going back.
It's over now, man. This is the rest. This is the rest of the show right here.
Coyotes of Valor.
Oh, there we go. I like this one. Buckets of Money of Valor. I like that. It's a great title.
I got one for him. Put it in there.
Trying to think of what other shows I've been watching. I've been listening to. There's a book I just finished. What did I just finish listening to? I've been listening to The Galaxy's Edge because I never finished the series all the way through, and I wanted to. What did I just finish? I did my third listen of Stormlight Archives a couple of months ago. That was long. Have you guys ever listened to or read Joe Abercrombie?
I keep meaning to. I've talked to like 6 people in a row that told me to read it, and I still haven't done it.
The first Blood trilogy.
He does kind of the grimdark stuff, right?
Super grimdark.
I'm down with grimdark.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. I've never read his stuff, but I know who you're talking about.
I mean, it's so grimdark that like it's not even grimdark in a sense that like people die, right? Because people get like killed and mutilated and shit. But like it's so grimdark that the way he describes this tortured man getting off like he says, and he stands up and his knees, the pain through his knees is so achy that he has to clench his teeth together when the pain in his knees, like just the way he writes it, like you read it and you're like, oh God, I feel horrible.
It makes you cringe.
Yeah. And the I'm listening to an audio and the guy, the main antagonist, his name is Gloctor, but he's an inquisitor, and so he just tortures people, right? Tortures people, but he was also tortured when he was in prison and captured, and so they pulled out every other tooth, right? So now when he talks with a lisp, and the narrator, when he does his dialogue, speaks with a lisp like this, and even with the lisp, the dude is bad. Like he's just menacing. Like you listen to him and you're like, you are one evil son of a bitch. Like it's a great book if you like that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I can only listen to I'll listen to the first book and then I have to go listen to like Mickey Mouse and like get my mind off of it.
I had that. I listened to who's the guy that wrote The Road and all the pretty
Cormac McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy. I got into a Cormac McCarthy binge for a while, and after about 3 months, it's like, man, I got to do something else. Especially The Road. The Road's about the darkest, most depressing thing I've ever listened to in an audiobook. But
somebody, I'm sorry, man.
No,
the live chat just blinked out for him, but somebody just asked about Lost in Space on Netflix. There it is. That's actually a family show for me and mine. We watched season 1. I liked it. I mean, they put their own little twist on it, of course, because it's an update. But overall, it looked really good. The story was really solid. It was very much the people trying to survive in space. And actually, right before this show, while we were eating dinner, we watched the first episode of season 2, and it was really cool. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but that's one I recommend. I mean, it's not like a super heavy action kind of show, but just for a solid kind of character-driven story, yeah, man, I enjoyed it. I would recommend it.
I watched the first season. I liked the first season a lot. So it's interesting that there was an original TV series, right, back in the 60s or something 60s. Like that. And then they did a movie, and I thought the movie was fantastic. Do you remember the movie from back in
I remember the movie. It got shit all over, but I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was a fantastic movie. And it really, even with the time travel aspect, which I thought they did okay with, right? Like, it was still a really good movie. I thought Matt LeBlanc was really good in that movie.
Very fun.
Very fun. And even the, like you had William Hurt and what's his name? The bad guy. I can't even remember his name now. But I mean, just a really like solid actors lined up.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. So I went into it having those two in the back of my head, and the new Netflix series. Obviously, Dr. Smith is a girl now, and I don't care that she's a girl. She just annoyed me some of the time. Like probably 75% of the time she was on the screen, she annoyed me. And I know that was on purpose, right? Because they want
they don't want her likable.
Right. But the whole time I'm like, why are they not seeing through what the hell she's doing? But I thought the acting was really good. I liked the robot aspect of it. I haven't started season 2 yet because I want to watch The Witcher first and get that out of the way. And I've been binging Breaking Bad, which I just finished.
I still haven't gotten
fucking behind on my series. It's ridiculous.
So, when you guys do watch Breaking Bad, we need to do a story breakdown because, so I talked about this. I made a post about it the other day because the bad guy in The Mandalorian, the Moff, whatever his name is, Gideon. He plays one of the main bad people in
Pollo Hermanos.
No, well, okay. So actually, that Polos Hermanos is Two Brothers Chicken. It's the restaurant that he manages in.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that's why I made that meme post. But Breaking Bad has some of the best freaking writing in it I have ever, as TV shows go. Like it's in the top. Like, so The Wire for me, number 1 best cop show of all time is The Wire, and then
I haven't seen it.
I
haven't seen nothing.
I could probably get away with that, Scott, because I'm not a cop, but it's almost like there's more pressure on you to see it just so you can have real world.
I'm blowing up my sails to take me on this epic journey, and then Scott comes through and just shreds them with a machete, takes all the air out of my sails. So The Wire. Hold on, I gotta get rid of this.
I've watched 3 or 4 episodes of Breaking Bad, and it is intense. I mean, and it's good writing. It's good.
Episode. Yeah. In the first season, and that's where I stopped watching.
Which episode? The
bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was tough.
Yeah, and not because that bothered me or anything. It's just I think we moved or something, but I just never got back to it.
Yeah. See, even Lauren Moore agrees. Writing, acting, directing, Breaking Bad is incredible. 100%. 100%. And there's so many cool things.
I want to watch Peaky Blinders too.
I need to watch that.
People keep telling me to watch Peaky Blinders.
It's really good.
The cool thing about Breaking Bad is not only is the writing really well done, like the dialogue and the storyline and all that is really well done, but there's like little itty bitty things they do that when you see them all in one deal, it's like mind blowing. Like for instance, in one of the seasons, there's an event that happens, but that event is foreshadowed in the titles of every episode. And if you put those titles together, well, not every episode, but there's select episodes that the event is foreshadowed in the series. So if you put those titles together and you read it as a sentence, it tells you what happens at the end of the season. It's yeah, I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's and even the number of episodes is there's 62 episodes, and the 62nd element on the periodic table is I can't remember what it is. There's something in the 62nd element that kind of figures into the show. So even the amount of episodes that they did was like meta. I don't know, it's just super great. I could talk about Breaking Bad all the time. I literally got to the middle of the last season at like 10 o'clock one night and could not stop. I was up till like 2:30 in the morning watching because I couldn't stop watching. It was just like a boom, boom.
Binge it out. See, if I had a part-time job again, I could get all this stuff done on my phone or something. But
yeah,
that's where I used to binge. I binge watched like all of Alias, the entire season.
I need to watch that.
I watched all of the what's the one of the FBI guy in Kentucky, Justified.
Oh, Justified, yeah, great one.
All the 24 or the first 5 seasons of 24. I watched all those while I was at a part time, but I don't have that part time anymore, so now I don't get to watch any TV.
And then Lou says
it's samarium.
Yeah,
and it's used to treat lung cancer.
That's what it is because he had lung cancer.
Yeah. I was trying to guess what it was, and I was wrong, but I looked it up.
Lou Holston says, just watched El Camino, and it was a great ending for Jesse's character. I 100% agree. I think everybody in that show had a really good character arc. And like when I watch TV shows now, I don't really care about the show, like spoilers or anything. I'm looking for the arcs. Like I'm looking for those things that make the shows great. And there are things about character arc and presentation that I really look for, whether it's believable or not to the average or to anybody. I look for that kind of stuff, and I think that Breaking Bad had a lot of that in there. Let's see. Kentopia says, "I've got news for you. 2020 a Dune movie is coming." I've heard they wrapped up shooting a couple of weeks ago. Who's in that movie? I can't remember.
I'm curious.
I wonder how many Dune movies they're going to make before they get it right. Did you guys like any of the other Dune movies that they've made?
I like the one they made back in the late 80s.
Is that the one with Jean-Luc Picard?
That was at a time when I was desperate. Like I've talked about this before, when I was desperately craving a good sci-fi or whatever movie. There wasn't a lot of competition.
Yeah,
and I just really liked it. Now, having read all the books and stuff, and then the one that I really hated, they did like a mini series Dune one, and it was just I couldn't even.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, I remember.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I couldn't even watch
bad.
So,
it's
1984 Dune. My wife always tells the story that when I think it was her dad and her mom went to see Dune at whatever theater they went to, they gave you a guide when you walked in. It was like, here is a guide you need to have when you watch this movie so you can understand it.
Yeah, see, and that's exactly the point I was going to say. Dune is, if you want to do a Dune movie, they needed to approach it the same way they approach the Lord of the Rings and stuff.
It's about
you need a trilogy or whatever, because that is such a huge story with such a complex world, and the books. I can't remember all the names and stuff, but like the suits they wear when they're out in the desert and all that, they cover you head to toe. They talk about how it recycles the fluids and yada yada yada. Well, that's kind of hard to shoot.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when David Lynch did his in the 80s, it's had that blue little nasal cannula thing that supposedly took care of all the of keeping you alive and all that.
It was still better than the one they did later, like when they did the series, because they had like a little like a scarf they pulled over their nose or something.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Still suits in 1984 version at least looked like what I thought a still suit would look like up to like the neck.
Yeah.
Because they had like the pumps and valves.
Right. There was like plumbing on it.
Right.
Yeah, it was good up to the face. You know.
I'm looking on the Wikipedia article for the new Dune, and the main character, Paul, 2020. The main character is played by Timothy Chalamet. I don't know if I pronounced that last name right. Relatively unknown, but listen to this cast of characters for the rest of the movie. Rebecca Ferguson, who's in Mission Impossible, great actress. Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya. I don't know that guy. Jason Momoa. Hey, how do you say his name? Javier Bardem. Is that right? Javier
Bardem.
Yeah, Xavier. From No Country for Old Men. And Chang Chin. Like, that's a phenomenal lineup of a cast.
That's a hell of a cast. I mean, there's a lot of good names there.
That's crazy.
And the special effects options they have now compared to what they did in the 80s is if used wisely, could be good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like as long as they remember they're telling a story. I think that's where a lot of these movies and things. It's definitely what happened. The last Star Wars thing is they just kind of forgot the story is what matters. It's characters you care about.
Yeah.
Don't let the friggin' accountants make creative decisions. You know,
I had a neighbor years ago.
Tom, wait a minute. Tom's making fun of the way I say Javier, whatever his name is. Xavier.
I don't even know.
Here. Xavier Bardem.
Hey, look, even Rents. Everybody is, look, I will say his name however I want to say his name. Right. Javier. It says with a J, and my name starts with a J also, so I think I know what a J sounds like. Okay.
I don't.
Bordello of Valor.
Javier's Bordello of Valor.
That's right. I can't think of you guys right now.
Javier.
Hosh, yes. It's actually pronounced Joshua Hayes. This is how you pronounce it. I really hope that they do good with this movie. I really do. I'm not a huge Dune fan. I've only read the first book.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the first book is not the best. It's slow.
Let's talk about a little bit about what's the best book you guys read this year. Do you guys have one that you read? Year? And for 2019. And you guys in the live chat, let me know too. What's the best book that you read this year? I'm going to get some eyes.
I think we should just talk about something else since he's
I can still hear you.
I don't know. It's between all the books that I've read for beta reading and the books that I've written and in the books I've read, it's hard for me to keep track of which ones I even read this year. Let's think back. Gosh, dang it.
Okay, instead of maybe just most memorable. What's the worst book you read? Any
Honestly, you remember? Ask that question, and what jumped out immediately in my head is I read the Mr. Mercedes trilogy by Stephen King.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily science. I mean, there's definitely some sci-fi horror elements to it, fantasy horror elements to it. But yeah, man. I mean, those really stood out, and mostly because of the bad guy, Brady Hartzog. Just that was such a strong. There's so many strong characters in those books, and yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. And another thing about those three books that stood out for me is King actually wrote good endings to them. I mean, they actually wrapped up nicely, which I remember standing out in my mind, because whenever I go into a Stephen King book, I kind of expect the ending to sort of fade off, you know,
100%.
Kind of just trails away. But those wrapped up nicely, and there were some super strong characters. And then those actually led into another one he released. I think he released it this year. Was The Outsider, which had one of the characters from that trilogy in it. So I think that
whole series
whole
on HBO
right
too.
Huh?
That The Outsiders, a new series on HBO.
Oh yeah, well the Mr. Mercedes books got made into a TV series on AT&T's streaming service, whatever the hell they call it. I don't know. But no, those stand out for me. I really enjoyed those books, and it kind of I've been working on an outline for some thriller novels centered around an FBI guy that sort of sparked that in me. So I'm going to say Mr. Mercedes books by Stephen King.
I just picked up Mr. Mercedes on Amazon right now.
Yeah, I got that the last time you were talking about it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Edge of Valor still trending.
Did you read some of the quite a few people
on the Mr. Mercedes on audio? Shit, I can't think of the actor's name now.
Patton.
Will Patton reads the books. Holy crap, he is good.
I'm excited.
I mean, just awesome.
And nobody believes me, but I think do you guys remember the movie Armageddon?
Oh yeah,
I think Will Patton was the best actor in that movie.
He's the best actor in a lot of things.
That is very true, and it sucks because he usually is not the main the star, right? He's usually like a good secondary character, a sidekick, or whatever. But Will Patton is an amazing actor.
Yeah. He was in this thing on the Swamp Thing thing on the DC streaming service.
Oh really?
And he played like the main villain, and he was awesome. I mean, so good.
Let's see. Bill Frisbee said, "Not for Glory" by Joel Rosenberg. I don't know that I've heard that one. Boiler 215 says, "Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy." I really like that.
There's a classic.
I like that book.
Yep, classic.
I listened to it on Audible, and I thought it was hilarious.
I think I've read that 5 times in my life.
I haven't read any more of the series, but I think that book by itself is really good.
Yeah, I've read the whole series, but I've read that particular one more than once.
Sam Point says The Reservist. I believe that's the one by J.R. Handley. And fun fact, he got picked up to write 2 more in that series. So he's going to have a trilogy in the Galaxy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Let's see. Kentopia says, "Not going to lie, I love the shit out of Kings of the Wild. I've seen that book several times and never picked it up." Let's see. Only Human, J-O-O. Somebody pronounce his name. I don't know why I look at his name all the time. I want to say Oliveira, but is Oliveria? I know people in the chat are going to give me like a phonetic description about it. I'm sorry, Jay. I don't mean to mispronounce your name. Nick Cole's The American Wastelands. Didn't that the one that he narrated himself?
Yes.
He did actually a really good job narrating it. Let's see. What's Rick Partlow says? "The best book I read this year, other than my own, was Echoes of Valor." Hey, I know that guy. It's true. Tom says Echoes is up there. Leviathan Wakes was the best book you read. That it is a really good book. I like it.
I didn't read it this year, but yeah, that's an awesome book. Read that.
Let's see. Chronos says Buried in Black by J.T. Pattern. Best book I read this year. It's an ultra-realistic Black Ops thriller written by a former intelligence community person. Interesting.
Nice.
Let's see. Glispazzi Nascati?
I think they're doing it to you on purpose now, dude.
They have to be. They know that I'm a whiskey and they're just screwing with me. Guy, come on now. Jeez. And here he goes again. Maggie Mounds is the best actor in Armageddon. What did he say? "I owe $100,000 to a loan shark, and I'm pretty sure I'm married to a stripper named Mandy Mounds."
Oh, that was pretty good. All right. Well done, guy. That was good.
Lou. Come on. We just had a conversation about this. Just had it. Now they're just poking me. They're just poking me.
Never forget.
Poking the bear.
Edge of Valor. Thank you. Kentopia says, "I enjoyed Edge of Valor, waiting for the next Audible to drop. Surprise, it's tomorrow." Let's see if anybody else. I don't know if I missed anyone else's book. Nope, I don't think I did. Oh, the Hidden Spaces. It's actually Italian. Okay, it's actually he wasn't messing with me. So can you let's see, Gli Spazi Nascasti? For those of you that are listening and not watching, I'm trying to speak Italian and it's not working. So I apologize to any of our Italian listeners. Man, I'm trying to think of the best book I read this year. Let me look at my library here because I read a few. It's probably going to be. Let's see. I read The Stormfront this year for the first time because Chuck wouldn't shut up about Dresden Files. Was it you that kept talking about?
You got that one gets rolling about.
Yeah,
I mean, he's about to release, I think, the 17th book.
Because he have something like that, like 18 books planned or something, like total for the series.
Yeah, he's got, I think, 18 quote unquote standalone novels, and then a trilogy to wrap it up. That's supposed to be like an apocalyptic level threat,
right?
But he got like, I think it's 21 books planned out completely for the entire Dresden series arc,
right?
Which is next level plotting.
Man, I'm trying to look at all the books that I listened to this year. I didn't listen to a whole bunch.
I listened to, of course, one that stands out to me. I read one called, I think it's called The Book of M.
I've seen that around. I just haven't read it.
And I saw it because when they're doing all the different some award shows, all the controversy, I was watching the thing and I saw the author talk, and then I thought, well, I'm going to read something outside of the indie world, and I read it, and it started out really good, but it wore me out. It wore me down pretty quick.
There, Lauren says Peace Talks, the one that is the new.
Yes, 17th, 2020. Looking forward to it. Already pre-ordered it.
Gosh, I listened to so many books this year.
You know, I want to throw another one in there that really stood out with me, since King isn't really in the indie space, but Make Me No Grave.
Oh, that's good. I haven't finished it, but it was good what I read so far.
So in 2018, that was my favorite.
Was that 2018?
Well, I think it released, whether you read it this year or not, I think it released in 2018. But I mean, that book, holy crap. You guys, listen in the chat, watching live. If you have not read or listened to Make Me No Grave, Chuck, tell them about it.
Well, it was just it's basically a Weird West type book. You know, it's urban fantasy set in the Old West. And it was the uniqueness of it and the way she handled the magic, and but it still was very much had that whole cowboy feel to it. And I can't remember the characters' names now, but the sheriff guy, Marshall, whatever he was.
Apostle Richard.
I mean,
that's a cool name.
Yeah. And I listened to it on audio, and Oliver Wyman was doing the narrating. And he has that old cowboy kind of drawl voice going, you know. But it was just such a unique setting, and the characters were really vibrant. They really felt real. And, you know, it was just, if you're looking for something a little unique, a little off the beaten path, I think that's the book I would recommend to just about anybody that enjoys fantasy fiction.
Yep. I 100% agree. On 2018, which was the year I think I read that book.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 18 or not.
But Make Me No Grave and Oathbringer tied. Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer, they tied for my number one favorite book.
I didn't even think of it.
Yeah. By the way, I'm above Sanderson on the rankings. No, but Make Me No Grave is freaking phenomenal. I believe she's working on a sequel, but even if she doesn't write a sequel, I'll still say that Make Me No Grave book is probably the best. I mean, even the way it opens, the language that she uses, the prose that she uses is just so, like, you feel that you're in the Old West.
And I think that's, you know, it's like I've said before, if you can make a reader feel something, you've got them.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's about that transfer of emotion through whatever medium you're trying to use. That's true art, and she nailed it with that book.
Do you guys have any books you're looking forward to reading in 2020? Peace Talks. Yeah. Hopefully they say that the fourth Stormlight Archives is going to come out in 2020, so I'm really excited about that. Of course, it's not till like November. Ugh.
Yeah, I need to read more. This whole conversation made me realize I haven't watched any series or TV shows or read any books.
But you've written a shit ton of books.
But I can't remember. Yeah,
okay, but you've written a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, how many books have you written this year?
Published like 9. plus the fourth 3 shorty stories, which are 12,000 words each.
Well, but you also wrote and rewrote Brother in Arms.
And I wrote Brother in Arms 3 times.
Yeah.
So actually, if you count that for each time I rewrote it, then that's 11 or 12 books.
And the 3 shorty books almost counts as one.
Yep. And I've written, and then I wrote a alien invasion book that's 10,000 words from being done that keeps getting sidetracked and should be published.
You know how many words you got this year?
I got my sheet up, I think. Let's see.
We all know how many words Chuck got.
I think I got
I got a few.
You got them words.
Had a bad year.
Oh no, I'm right there with you, brother.
I got 784,638 words. So 2019. And I don't have the time calculator on this because I switched spreadsheets on my birthday, but
you never do that.
Since my birthday in October 25th, I have 129,000 words and 183 hours of writing time.
Wow.
In 67 days. So that's almost 3 hours a day. I'm trying to go for 4. I've always tried to hit the 4-hour a day mark. I never can quite get it.
Rick Bartlow says he's written 10 books and published 10, but they're not the same 10. What about in the live chat? How many books have you guys written this year? What about you, Chuck? How many books have you written this year? Not even if you haven't published them. How many have you written?
Oh shit. 4. I've finished the first drafts, but I haven't gotten anything publishing ready. But I think almost 4. I'm gonna put it that way.
That's good. And you can have a head up on 2020 when you go to publish those stuff.
For you,
I plan on 2020 being a kind of a big release year because I did get some production done last year despite my other issues.
Yeah,
but I plan on 2020 being kind of a release year. I plan on getting a few titles out this year. But I mean, I don't go at it, hardcore like some of you guys do.
Let's see. Tom Hoddle says he published 4 books or wrote 4 books written. Jake Clifton wrote 4 books. Boiler 2015 wrote 6, published 3. Bill written about 5, and Lauren has clicked the chat moved. Lauren has written 2. Kronos just 1. Still trying to get a good cover designer. Cover designers are tough to come across. Good ones.
Becoming a hot commodity, man. A decent cover designer.
Lawrence published 1 and published 7 short stories.
Short stories. I respect that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, when 2016, Scott and I did
a short stories.
A shit ton of short stories.
Books we've been writing in different collaborations. So
yeah. I think if you get into the short stories, even if they're not going to pay anything, but making those connections when you do the short stories, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
I actually got a really nice PM on Messenger this morning about my short story in the anthology, the Brace Cordova story I did. Really? Somebody sent it, said it was the most solid story they'd read in a while, and they really liked it, and they were going to take some hints from it. And it's kind of nice to get the attaboy,
Oh, hell yeah, that's very cool. Let's see. Guy Anthony DeMarco says published 6 romance or eroticas, have 4 more written, and then stopped in the middle of November due to medical issues. Still, it's a very. I mean, I'm glad your medical issues are okay, but that's. I mean, six books is not anything to frown at.
6 books is always my goal for like the first since 2012, and I got serious about indie writing. I was always trying to do 6 books. That seemed like an aggressive but reasonable, couple thousand words a day, and you could do a lot. So 6, but I'd never get it. I'd always hit like 3 or 4.
I'm trying to count
like the last couple of years.
I'm trying to count how many books I wrote this year and how many I published. Let's see. I published the last Terra Nova book, and then Striker's War, Edge of Valor, or was Edge of Valor last year? No, it was this year. Echoes of Valor, Ghost Rope Project. Is that 5 or 6? I did 5 or 6. So yeah, I think that's a good average. 5 or 6 is a good average.
Everybody knows about the Ghost Rope.
The Trad Hub world where they expect 1 book a year.
1 book every couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, think about that.
It's interesting though, because talking about TradPod and the writing velocity, because if you look at the top 100 sci-fi authors, every now and then you'll see a book appear out of nowhere, and they'll usually be 2 or 3 authors at the same time. It's usually from 47 North, which is an Amazon publishing house.
Right.
But it can be some other publishing house too. But you'll know that they're TradPub because it'll be an author with 1 book, and they'll be ranked like number 3.
Yeah,
and you'll never see them again.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like, so is that success?
It's really. I mean,
that eye of the beholder. I mean,
right.
Maybe it's success for that guy, but
or maybe like a couple of the other indies that we go and they have 1 name that's published under traditional publishing, like 14 indie pin names that.
Right.
Yeah.
Kintopia asks, did Hosh write less this year full time? I wrote more this. I more than doubled my word count this year. I know I stopped counting at I think 490,000 words is when I stopped counting, because I got a whole bunch of stuff going on at the same time, and I just didn't get the counting happening. But I more than doubled my words from last year when I was not full time. But then I had a really horrible case that I'm still battling of. At the end of writing Valor 2, I basically was writing nonstop for a month for 18 hours a day trying to finish that book, and it really burnt me out. And so I've been fighting that burnout for 2 months. And
it's hard, dude.
With losing our daycare and then everything else that's been going on, I've been struggling. I'm getting back into the habit now, but I've been struggling to get back on finding the right times to do different things. I think that this next year will be a little bit smoother, but definitely more than doubled my output this year than I did in 2018. Which there's a couple. There's 1 book that I wrote this year that's I don't know when it will be out because it's a ghost written project. So I don't know when that book is ever going to come out. But that book's 90,000 words.
Out of genre.
Out of genre. I mean, I already got paid for it, right? So it counts. I just don't ever. I'll know when it publishes, but I won't be able to tell anybody. But that was one of the projects. It was a good project to do.
We talked about that a lot because that writer wants you to write more for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was funny when I turned that book in, and I guess he had a couple other people that he was basically testing out to ghostwrite for him, and he bugged me for I don't even know, probably 2 weeks. Not really bugged, but he kept asking can you do?
You sure you don't want to do
Are you sure you don't want to do book 2? How can I get you to do book 2? I really like what you did here. And I would ask him what's the deal? He's like, I've got these other ghostwriters that are horrible. They'll turn them in basically outlines of books. and like really horrible dialogue and all this other stuff. And I took my time and I put together a really good product, I thought. And it's a good book. And I went back and read the beta version that he handed out. Must have been 2 months ago. And I took a look at that. And then one of my other buddies who knows that I ghost wrote it, he sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, check this out." And there was a little cameo in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. But so good times. I think that 2020 is going to be a really good year. I'm really excited to kick it off. I'm really excited to see how this word challenge is going to go. You can, if you're listening to this and you want to get on it late, I don't know when the audio is going to go out, but you can always get on it. If it's popular and we want to continue to do it throughout the year, we'll continue to do it. I don't care. It took me like 20 minutes to set up, and now it's just a copy and paste. If we want to do more months, if people are,
yeah,
you do months, like a weekend, like a writer's weekend or a writer's retreat.
Well,
yeah.
Honestly, though, I mean, it wouldn't work for me because numbers don't motivate me.
Right.
But if you're the kind of person who looking at that spreadsheet and having those numbers down for you, if that motivates you and keep you writing, I mean, why couldn't we just have a community thing, you know? And then and if people want to comment to each other, "Hey man, I noticed your word count dropped off. Everything okay?" Whatever, you know, kind of a accountability. Again, won't work for me, but you know, if it works for other folks, then that could be an ongoing thing if it's not a lot of work, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, and it's not now that it's done, it's not any work at all. Now that the spreadsheet does its own work. But yeah, I'm completely open to have continuing challenges and whatnot, and I think it'll be fun. And you know, maybe we can do some cool stuff as the year goes on. Like I said last week, season 5 is going to be a lot more basically getting back to the basics of what we have been doing here at Keystroke. A lot more focusing on you guys as the audience and as writers to improve craft, to motivate, like we say in the pre-roll, motivate, entertain, and educate. And only a little bit of education on Mondays, mostly entertainment, but we want to get back to that. So we're going to do a lot more craft-centric topics. We will still do some interviews, but we're going to the authors that we have on, they're going to be on because they have something to say about a topic that we want to talk about. So if you guys have any topics, anything at all that you want to cover in season 5, let us know in the Keystroke Facebook group. It's facebook.com/group/keystroke-medium. You can also send us an email at keystroke-medium@gmail.com. Send me a message, or any of the guys, Scott, Chuck, Lauren, Kayleen. You can send them messages. They will get to me. And we can set up some episodes to talk about the stuff that you guys want to talk about, because ultimately that's why we're doing this show. And if we're not serving you guys and giving you guys the stuff that you need to succeed and improve your writing career, then we're not doing.
And all we're doing is making fun of Josh.
That's right. All we're doing is making fun.
That's right. Always.
So thank you everyone who has stuck with us and are just finding us here on Keystroke Medium in season 4 in 2019. I hope you guys have a great 2020. We're going to come back next week, celebrate the new year, talk about some goals for the new year.
Very important.
And, how we're going to kick its ass. And hopefully we won't be too hungover. So happy New Year to everybody in the live stream. Be safe, be responsible, have a really good time, and we will see you next year to talk about reading, writing, and everything in between right here on Keystroke Medium. See you.
Happy New Year, guys.